Assalamu alaikum. Jazakum Allah bil khair. Good afternoon, Money 2020. In September of 2020, 5 years ago today, we launched Tamara. The vision was always clear: to build a company that outlasts ourselves, that touches millions of people. And to do that, the foundation had to be right. So we built it on 3 principles: trust, simplicity, and ubiquity. Today, I only have 20 minutes, so I'm going to focus on the most important one: trust. Imagine a world without trust, where you don't trust anybody around you. Society collapses. It doesn't work. In fact, we take trust unconsciously for granted. But it's hard work. Let me give you a personal story. You see, on June 12th of this year, I became a father for a baby boy. We named him Nahar. And as many of you know, when this thing happened, something switched on. That night, my wife and I had to trust a team of strangers to deliver our baby to the world safely. And then it dawned on me: we have to do that more often than we would like. With his schooling, upbringing, and a lot along the way. In fact, the modern world runs on trust more than ever before in human history. So let me ask you this: how many of you have shopped online last week? Probably many as well who didn't raise their hands. You see, when you buy online, you don't meet the seller. Did you meet the seller? You went browsing, and then you didn't touch the product. You just selected the product. Not a long time ago, the only way to shop was to go to physical stores, to touch the product, to test it, to feel it, and then go to a cashier and give him cash. We did not need a lot of trust in that system. Compare this to shopping online, where 91% of Saudis do shop online. You basically browse again and just shop, and you click buy, and the world synchronizes. Payments, fraud check, delivery, logistics, and a lot more. Think about it. That is trust at work. This is why at Tamara, trust is at the center of everything we do. It is our invisible glue. Tamara today sits at the heart of a massive trust ecosystem. From regulators to investors, merchants, customers, and much more. And to deliver for this ecosystem, we built the company with 3 promises: credible, capable, and connected. So let's go deeper in each one of them. Credibility in fintech is mainly developed in two ways: regulator licensing and investors and major investors backing. So let me tell you the story with the regulator. As you can see in the graph, Tamara was granted an access to the sandbox environment in 2020. With limited resources and capital, we were able to be trusted, which gave us the means for customers and merchants to have faith in our service. And then in 2023, SAMA granted us the first buy now, pay later permit in Saudi. And then 5 years into the business, under SAMA, we were the first fintech company to receive the full consumer finance license. That is, thank you. That is a lot of work. Such a license is not a trophy, believe me. It's a daily call to act with clarity and care. Trust, as you can see, takes time to build. But we are lucky to have a regulator that allowed us to start small and build up with them with time. Investors as well judged us on the same standards, results. In early 2022, Sanabil, one of the leading VCs in the world, led our Series A and invested, which was $100 million at the time. And then, after some time, trusting us more, they co-led our Series C with S&B Capital, and together invested more than $300 million. That's the equity story. But let me tell you a more critical one, the debt story. As many of you know in finance, debt people are risk averse. Gaining trust is critical. In 2023, Goldman Sachs, the largest investment bank in the world, extended the first of its kind in the region, a $400 million asset-backed facility. That was huge at the time. And then, as many of you know, today we just announced a $2.4 billion, the largest of its kind in the region. And we welcomed new partners, Citi and Apollo. These are really big names in capital markets, and we're very proud to have them as partners. This is our credibility in full view, a license to operate and funded to scale. But you know, great products don't build great companies. Great people do. So we lead with two, hiring the best and building the best. I personally lead our key hires end to end. I consider myself the chief hiring officer. In fact, every leader in Tamara is expected to go meet and recruit the best. It's part of their job and mandate. Our chief risk officer and our chief technology officer, both of them took me almost 2 years from the first meeting until their first day at Tamara. It takes time to find good talent, and it takes longer to convince them. The fact is, for the most important hires, patience is a strategy. But we don't only hire the best, we build the best. But when it comes to building the best, capability is not assumed, it's developed. That's why we launched our Builders program, a very dear program to my heart. This program is to fast-track ambitious Saudis into real responsibilities, pairing them with mentorship and missions that matter. Last year alone, we received 11.7 thousand applicants who competed to join. Only 30 were accepted. That is less than 0.2% acceptance rate. One example of this program is Hashim, who sits here in the audience. I'll give you a story about Hashim. I met Hashim a year ago in a conference, and he was 18. And I was impressed by his knowledge and deep interest to build things. He read way more books than I was like in my entire life at 18 into how to build a business. That's passion. And I immediately knew he's a builder. And from that moment, we started the recruiting process. Today, Hashim is a product manager at Tamara, leading clear KPIs with real responsibilities. Hashim reminds me that talent is not defined by age. It's defined by ambition and courage to deliver. At Tamara, we chose two things that are radical in finance. Trust first and don't penalize, empathize. Let me tell you about trust first. We give people the benefit of the doubt. When I started Tamara, people doubted that people will pay us back. I absolutely believed people will pay us back. I remember when I was younger and needed credit, it wasn't about my credibility, my values, or my history of paying people back. I went to the banks and I had to prove myself. I needed the right income, the right job, at the right company. If you didn't fit that box, credit stayed closed. It didn't matter how responsible you were. Access went to the people that the system coined trustworthy. That experience stayed with me. A credit shouldn't be that far out of reach. It should rest on one thing: trust first. For 21% of our customers, we're not just another payment method. We are their first experience with responsible credit. Even if they are new to credit or don't have the long history, we build trust with them step by step, giving them increasing increments as our trust grows together. But connecting with customers isn't just about giving them credit. It's more than that. It's how we respond when things go wrong. As you can see, we don't penalize. We empathize. Where others profit from confusion, hidden fees, and penalties, we chose transparency. What you see is what you get. We don't take that trust lightly. We listen. Every non-5-star review is immediately flagged in our channels and discussed openly. Every week, the leadership team, more than 40 people, we sit with our customer care team, with a real agent, listening to real voices and hearing real concerns. In such shadowing sessions, we have open discussions on case-by-case basis. That helps us shape the future of our product roadmap, because it's not just about data for us, it's also about empathy. In 2023, when customers raised concerns about late fees, we didn't just take note, we acted. We made the bold decision to remove them entirely. Something that represented at the time more than 20% of our top line. Believe me, that was a very difficult decision. But we believed that taking away that doubt mattered more in the longer term than a short-term win. Because at Tamara, customer care isn't a cost center. It is the heartbeat of our company. It is how we connect, how we learn, and how we build trust that lasts. And trust has paid off. 4 out of 10 people in Saudi and UAE are registered with Tamara today. And more than 90% of our business is generated through existing customers, repeat customers, those who trust us and keep coming back. We have also processed to date more than 50 billion riyal in less than 5 years, powering more than 80,000 merchants. And something I'm very proud of, 30,000 of them are female entrepreneurs. And we've also partnered with global brands like Apple, Amazon, Shein, IKEA, and many other local brands like Jarir and Noon. All of that with less than 1% default rate. Thank you. At the start of this keynote, I asked you to imagine a world without trust. And for the last 5 years, we have been building trust as our most valuable currency. But let me leave you with one last story. Last year, I appeared on Mdefer show. Many of you know Mdefer. It's one of the most well-known shows in Saudi. And he asked me whether would Tamara one day offer home loans. And without hesitation, I said, of course, inshallah. Because our vision was always there. We wanted to grow with our customer, serving all their needs. The next day, at our care center, chaos. People calling, asking for home loans, car loans, all sorts of loans. And one caller's story stood out. And the team took her permission to share it with the entire company. Her name is Maryam. She's a teacher. She said she had never used Tamara herself, which was very interesting. But she loved Tamara. And then she explained why. She saw firsthand the impact of Tamara on her community, especially teachers, how Tamara enabled them to smoothen their expenses for Eid and make their families and kids happy without the debt trap. To her, Tamara wasn't just a fintech company. It was someone who her community trusted, and it delivered for them. Maryam, like many, has bigger needs and bigger dreams and expect more from Tamara. Therefore, as we step into chapter 2 of our journey at Tamara, Maryam's story and millions like hers reminded me of what we're really building. Because at Tamara, we're in the business of helping people own their dreams. Thank you. Shukran.